20 minutes is about the length of, like, a TV show, you know? If you watch a TV show, like a 30-minute TV, like a sitcom or something, which I think a YouTube video is comparable. Most, like, TV dramas and stuff are 40 minutes, but I think a YouTube video, like the type of video that I make, are more comparable to, like, a sitcom, or like a 30-minute. So, factoring out the commercials, 22 minutes is what most sitcoms are. So if I can keep my YouTube videos at about 20 minutes, that's a good length. So most of the series I do nowadays are actually longer than the series I used to do, even if it doesn't seem that way from number of episodes, just because each individual episode now is longer. Have I fooled you guys? We're moving on. We're going to keep this loop going. The cooldown is now at... It looks like it's right at... Actually, I think that 0 stays on for 1 second, so I think I've been mistiming it until now. I think we're at like 1 point something seconds now. But we're at 70 small enigmas, and more every level. Some more nugs, we got another syringe and some other item in there. I didn't even see what that was. I'm just going to go up top here. If we have a bridge up top here, that tells me that we might have access to Boar Beach. When the game was much newer and I wasn't as good at it, Boar Beach was a good level to go to farm items, because it would spawn in toxic beasts constantly, and every toxic beast would drop an item. So my very first breaking run in the game with the Huntress, because that was the first character I broke with, and we do have access to Boar Beach, so let's clear this level, then go to Boar Beach. With the Huntress, was farming Boar Beach for a long time, until I had 9999 health with my infusion and whatnot. That was even before artifacts were in the game, though. That was before, like, the first major content patch. This game put out 2 major content patches before they stopped supporting it. The first patch had all of the artifacts in it, and then the second patch added 2 new players and some new items and things. Here's His Majesty. Goodbye, Your Majesty. See, I really only jump when it gets scary, and there's not a lot of monsters on this level that I think will survive long enough to really be scary. I kind of want to kill this Colossus down here, though. Another small enigma dead. Oh, yep, he's already dead. Before I even got there, he died. I don't want this to be my kill floor, but I mean, if it needs to be my kill floor... we might just do it. You know, we can just handle it. No, I'd really rather be up on top. Are there items down there to grab? There are. I gotta get them items. I gotta get them. I can't leave the items. The problem is, by the time I get back up here... There we go. Okay. Yeah, by the time I get back up here, more items have spawned that I want to go down and get, and... they're still gonna keep dying because I'm sending missiles and ceremonial daggers over there. So more items are gonna spawn down there. I see spike strips and whatnot. Let's have some bugs down there. Have some bugs, guys. Have all the bugs. Yeah, the blighted claymen do not scare me anymore. Those are the easiest... I don't want to say easiest. Earliest blighted monsters you'll see in the game are the blighted claymen. You see all the green circles? Those are my monster teeth doing work. And the more monster teeth I have, what do I have now? 16? The more of those I have, the bigger those circles get, and the more health they give me. But we're still not broken. I'm not confident saying we're broken until we get a Frost Relic. Let's go to Boar Beach, though. Why not? That lets us play level 3 again. And we get a white undershirt. And I think that's a little bit of defense. I think is how that works. It's a reference to something in Maple Story. Infusion is absolutely worthless for us now. But whatever, we'll pick it up. Oh, we should have killed that scavenger. Maybe we can still kill him. So we gotta wait. Yeah, there we go. Oh, cool. Small enigma. Cooldown is now at... looks like almost exactly 1 second. We had enough time to kill... waiting for our experience to catch up to kill that scavenger. Hey, brought us back to the Ancient Valley. Can we go to Boar Beach again? Because before they added artifacts in the game, that used to be the only way you could get infinite items on a level was to go to Boar Beach. And no, this level does not have the Boar Beach teleporter. Okay. Is to go to Boar Beach and kill those toxic beasts that always spawn. Because bosses always drop items. What do we have here? An alien head. What is that? I forget what that does. Let's mouse over that. Oh, it just reduces our cooldowns for all our skills. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm already playing Huntress. I mean, I guess my dash cools down faster now, but not the most helpful thing in the world. I'm not going back for those spike strips. Who am I kidding? I'm absolutely going back for those spike strips. I couldn't even finish getting the words out of my mouth before I turned myself into a liar. So, I gotta pick up items. I'm so greedy. I'm so greedy. I need to have every item. Every item. Some of the tier 2s have been really elusive, though. The Rusty Jetpack. We still haven't seen Frost Relic. And the Hopo Feather. Some of our tier 2s have been very, very elusive. Have all those missiles and daggers and whatnot. Delicious. Teleporter's up where the Boar Beach teleporter ought to be. But is not today. Another small enigma. What are we at now? Almost under 1 second from the looks of it. We can't launch them continually quite yet, though. But the bugs are pretty good. And it's definitely not better than just using my regular attack. In fact, I'll bet I have got enough verticality to do this. Haha! I do. Love it. Another infusion. Totally worthless. Totally worthless because we're at the HP cap at this point. There's nothing else it can do for us. I see we got some more fireworks there. Those are going to be fun. I promise. I promise. They will be awesome. What are monsters doing up here next to the teleporter? Get off my map. Get away from my teleporter, please. Give me all your items. I don't even know what all we just picked up there. I think there was a monster tooth, a fire shield, hermit scarf, got some head stompers. This is officially... I can't say it's a breaking run. I can't officially say it. It's not yet. It's just not. We don't have Frost Relic. If you've seen my other Let's Plays of this game where I got the Frost Relic, you know it gets crazier. There's another alien head. That's weird. There's some characters that love that alien head, that absolutely adore that look, cooldown reduction. But for Huntress, it's less useful because all her stuff cools down pretty quickly anyway. So, can I go back to the other way, though? Yeah. I can go around either direction. 12 enemies remain. I better stop screwing around and hit my teleporter here. We got some more missiles here. Some more head stompers. I think the more head stompers you get, the more damage you do when you jump on an enemy's head. Speaking of jump on head, this buffalo man there was just being a little crazy. Go get this last imp overlord. Hey! What's he doing here? Let's take care of him too. Falling damage is based on percentage, so the more health you have, the more damage you take when you fall. That's why it looked like I almost died right there when I fell that whole way down. But I wasn't actually in any real danger. This guy spawned at the very beginning of the level. Finish him up. A spike strip. I don't think I quite have enough verticality yet to make it across the gap in the bridge in the middle of this level either. What other roguelites have I played? There's two others that I think I've played extensively that are worth mentioning in this roguelite series here. The first is Spelunky. I've actually got an old Let's Play series, a really old Let's Play series of Spelunky. In fact, that version of Spelunky I played is the original version that came out before they did Spelunky HD. Like, Spelunky HD was not even out when I first played that. And it's a platformer game like this, but the randomness doesn't come from item drops like it does in this game. The randomness in Spelunky is really about the level layout. And I put a lot of time into Spelunky and got pretty good at that game. Then Spelunky HD came out, and I'm really torn on it, because, like, it's Spelunky, which is fine, but I don't think the HD graphics do it any favors. I really don't. I really feel like the original Spelunky was better. There's a little bit of verticality there. Got another jump. So what we can do now is tap the button to get a second and third jump in the air. And then while we're landing from the second and third jump, our photon jetpack can recharge. I'm jumping into big packs of monsters because in my head I think I've got Frost Relic and I don't. Ugh. I'll just go with it though. I also saw a tier 3 up there. I think that's the one that makes my cooldowns recharge on crit or something. Or it's the one that makes my use item have a chance to get double effect, which means double boogers. Awesome. Double bugs every, like, what, 1.1 seconds? So I did buy Spelunky HD, and I like there's a lot more stuff in the game, but I don't think the higher fidelity graphics do it any favors. Because Spelunky's a game where you've got to read the entire screen all the time, every second you play. And it can be very stressful to play Spelunky, and the HD graphics basically make things a little harder to see. They make things a little muddier. There's too much detail on the screen, and that was my experience with it anyways. It made the game a little harder to read from second to second. Like, I would constantly die to things, or get killed by monsters, or take stupid damage because they were hidden, like, next to some kind of decoration or something. And I think I might have been able to get more used to it with time if I played it a lot more, but I didn't play Spelunky HD as much as I probably should have. I own it on 360 and I own it on Steam. I've got a couple of copies of it. I just haven't gone back to the HD version. I still prefer the old school Spelunky, personally. All my monsters are dead. And here I am talking about Spelunky. Get them nugs again. How many nugs do we have? We got 22 meat nuggets. Like mother's milk. Them good old meat nugs. The only other roguelites that I've played, I won't even say extensively, because Spelunky's the last one that I played extensively, but the other ones that I've actually put some time into, one of them is Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is a super fun game that I got tired of very, very quickly. I kind of got the point of the game, and I think I beat it once, by which I mean I went through all the stages and saw the ending of the game. Talk about a stressful game to play. Crypt of the Necrodancer is incredibly stressful. If you haven't seen it, it's a roguelite where you have to play in real time. And you have to, every action has to be done to the rhythm of the stage. It plays music, and the music it plays keeps a beat, and every action you make in the level has to be done on that beat. Or you lose bonuses, you take penalties. The controls in the game is all done by the D-pad. Either pushing a direction to hop in that direction. All movement is done on squares. So, all movement is like basically tile-based. You hop from tile to tile in the direction you push. And then all of your actions are combinations of directions. Like to use items or pick up weapons on the ground or something like that. So it's a very elegant game, the way they designed it and the way it's controlled. Like, people actually play that game with a DDR pad, which was intentional. That's why it's all set up to be done with the D-pad. Or the arrow keys, I guess. Or the touchpad, if you've got your awesome Steam controller. There's another infusion, which I don't need. How about instead of 17 infusions, we get one Frost Relic? Wouldn't that be nice? Cooldown is still over 1 second, though. We can do better. See, I felt like I got what I wanted out of Necrodancer after, I don't know, maybe 10 hours or so. And I haven't even though I do recommend the game if you haven't played it. I know it's not super expensive. You can usually get it on Steam sale and stuff. I think it's been in a couple Humble Bundles, so maybe look out for it there. But I do recommend it, but I don't think, for me personally, the game had a lot of depth. Like, it wasn't a very meaty game. It's not something that I wanted to go back to over and over again. I do know people who have gone back to it over and over again. That being said, I do know people who have played that game extensively to the point where we're going to try to outrun our experience. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. We're not going to make it to the edge in time. We're not going to get there. We didn't get there. I do know people who have put like 30, 40 or more hours into Necrodancer, and it is one of those games where every run is different. The layout matters, the type of monsters you get matters, the type of equipment you get matters. The type of equipment you get determines what kind of playstyles. Like, there's a lot of depth there to be had. It's a really, really good game and a really elegant game, but for me it wasn't a very deep game. It did not really inspire me to want to play it long enough to get stupidly good at it. The other game that I played, that I don't even think I played to completion, was FTL, Faster Than Light. And I did put a lot of time into that game. So if you're one of them FTL people who are like, you gotta stick with it, Brickroad, you really gotta put the time into it. I mean, after 20 hours or so, I think I put into FTL, and I just couldn't do it. I mean, I think that game is unfairly random. I said much earlier in this series about Binding of Isaac that every run in Isaac is winnable, but some of them are just miserable because of the tanky bosses and whatnot. I am not convinced every run in FTL is winnable from the outset. I'm not... Like, maybe you reach that point after you unlock certain ships or something, but I'm not convinced that at the outset every run of FTL is winnable. That's a game where memorization is the big skill. Because it's a game about situations that you get into. Like, literally, like literal actual situations. Like, the game will pop up a screen of text and say, what do you do in this situation? And I've had runs where I was like, okay, this time I'm going to take option A, and oh, looks like option A screwed me. And then the next run I'm like, oh, now I know not to take option A. Whoops, this time it's option B that screwed me, and option A is what I should have taken, but I didn't know that at the time. And I hate that feeling of losing the game for what just feels like just total randomness. Look at that mysterious vial chilling out at the ceiling there. Thought it was going to get away from me. It did not. And the other thing I don't like about FTL is Risk of Rain, Binding of Isaac, Necrodancer, even NetHack. These are games, when you lose in those kind of games, in roguelikes or roguelites, you lose hard and fast. And if it's a well-designed roguelite, which all the ones that I've mentioned until now I believe are really well-designed, it'll be something that's your fault. Every death is pretty close to instantaneous, and you can learn from every death. Do something differently next time. What decision did you make that went bad for you that you can learn from? And FTL does not feel like that. FTL feels like you know you're going to lose a long time before you actually lose. Like, you can see the downward spiral happening. You can see the gradual decline. And it's so demoralizing. Because you play that run and it's like, you know you're going to lose, but you're not dead yet, so you still play as perfectly as you can, but it's a death by 1,000 cuts. And it's not a good feeling in a roguelite game. So FTL, after 20 hours, I don't even think I won the game once. Or maybe I did win only once. Because I remember complaining that the final level of that game is very different from every preceding level. Like, unfairly so. Like, the skills you learn to play the early levels don't help you win the final level. And I think that's total BS. I think that's absolutely bad design. Shoutouts to Ian Diaz, who sponsored this video, and to everybody who helps make my channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.